Hello and welcome to another video from Fantasy Legion. I've got Sean with me. Welcome
Good
back.
back. Yeah, thanks, Al. You okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. We're talking about the rookies that are coming. Fantasy rookies, really, the relevant ones. And we're on to Brandon Aiyuk, Arizona State. What are your thoughts on him, Sean?
Well, it's got a bit of a pedigree about him. I mean, he's tall, very tall, actually. He's had 2 seasons of back-to-back touchdowns, double-digit touchdown numbers. So there's certainly a player there, playmaker, someone who can do it. He's not just done it in one season and then off to the NFL. His final year, 2019, just under 60 catches, 1,167 yards, 13 touchdowns. You'll hear a lot of similar numbers in this group, very similar to Claypool video. If you haven't seen that, go back and have a little look at that. Very similar numbers, but very different kind of player. The selection and the club that he falls to is critical for this guy to develop on. I think he's a bit of a developmental player for me, but I definitely see the talent is there. Again, like Claypool, not a legit number 1 for me. That's why he's not at the top end of the list. But if a team believe in you and, this guy has a pedigree, yeah, there's a real chance. So I'm kind of he's right in the middle of that little group that you are not completely convinced on. Like if I had to pick one of the targets I think is going to slip away after the draft is all said and done, he's one of them. So I suspect we won't hear a lot about him. In my view, we'll see how it plays out, but I think he could slip away.
Okay, a couple of things I'd like to add. 38.5% of his catches were on screens. Did you know that? He was number 1 in yards after the catch, obviously, because they're screens, and he took a lot of them to the house.
It's a little bit of a misleading stat, isn't it? Yards after contact when you're on screen passes.
Well, yeah, that's why he was up there with the top people, really, in the class. So that tells you where he might make his bread and butter in the NFL, really, because he took a lot of them to the house. So he's really good in space, even though he's only run a 4.540. So I mean, that's not slow, but it's not lightning quick either. But
it's okay. It's okay in those big wide receiver groups. That's okay.
Would that worry you there's so many screens? 38.5%. That's more than a third of his catches are screens.
This is why I say, he's a player that's a developmental project. Yeah, he's a developmental player. I mean, there's certainly something there because he's had double digits. So it's not to say teams figured him out. That's not to say they figured out what they were doing. So there's certainly something there. But I think a lot of his opposition and some of the teams he played against, would have you questioning some of those setups as a coach and an offensive coordinator and so on. So I really do think he's a player that's going to fall away. Once the draft is all said and done, I'll be very surprised if we're really talking him up. We're more thinking he's buried, to be honest.
Well, the problem is, any other year, and he might be, he could be up there in the top echelon. But it's such a deep class, especially wide receivers, and it's really tough, isn't it? It's really tough. I mean, he could be great. He could be really great, and that's the same with a lot of these.
Well, he's in the pack of players where you can see teams who need wide receivers and who need, because there's 32 teams, 64 potential places, but of course teams have already got players. So then you're really looking at who doesn't have a wide receiver 1 and who doesn't have a wide receiver 2, and obviously there's a role even for a third, but it's much less when we talk fantasy. So you're kind of looking at this player really for me at the moment is kind of a fringe second, more likely he'll be an auxiliary player at best. I worry whether he just disappears after the selection process is said and done, and that would be that.
Yeah, I think he'd just end up like the 3rd or 4th receiver, maybe, especially early on, and then doing a bit of special teams.
Yeah. He's done enough of that to.
I mean, that might be harsh on him, but I think even players like Isabella who came in with a lot of speed last year, and you think they could make a mark, but where is he now? He had a couple of big catches and that he took to the house, but they never really used him after that. And
that's the point.
They've now signed,
Yeah, and a player like him as well. You see, the reason I'm evaluating him slightly, he's still high on the list. He's still in our top end of the list, if you will. Still exciting, interesting. But why I'm not evaluating him higher than some of the other prospects is because I think without the, ability potentially to have the OTAs and work around the camp properly and all that kind of, a guy like him could disappear really quick. Really.
Well, let's hope not. But I wouldn't put anyone off him completely. I mean, it's not like you're
No,
paying a big premium for him.
no,
And
not at all.
he has. I mean, number one after yards after contact, like you say, it's a bit misleading, but it is what it is. Okay, well, that's Brandon Aiyuk, really. A lot of people are quite high on him, and especially all the local college fans. They're really defensive of him. So
He's got a chance. That's why he's up on the top end of this list. It's
but
just
it's kind of others we prefer. I mean, if he goes like second or third round and somebody really fancies him, that could change everything. Like with all of these players.
Oh, you have to re-look then at why that team chose him, and there'll probably be a very big tell why based on some of the things you've already hinted at there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's Brandon Aiyuk. If you've enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up, and consider subscribing, and we'll see you again on the next one.